Go ahead. Alright, this is the second part to the H&K 416D 22LR disassembly. I left off just with the internal. This is a bolt carrier, the bolt, and the barrel. And I already took off one screw. Now I'll just take off loosen the other screws. This requires a hex key. Keep that in mind. Remember, when you reassemble the whole gun, it doesn't zero back in, so you actually have to readjust everything. No, just readjust your sights if you have a scope sight like how I do. And another thing I just want to point out to you is this. This is actually a velocity changer. It requires a hex key also. It's probably size 4 or 5. If you can see it. There's another video how to H&K actually provides a video how to adjust that for subsonic velocity, or if it's not feeding well properly. That's where you adjust it. And then back to our screws. Actually just keep unscrewing these. You would get one screw. Keep in mind that some of these screws actually are longer than the other, so when you put it back, some of them might not fit in there. And when you're doing this, always remember to keep pressure on these two plates. These are actually two plates. Oops, sorry.
Ouch.
These are actually two plates that hold the bolt in place. So there's one on top and one on the bottom. Otherwise, your spring's just gonna pop out and go crazy. And I'll show you right now what I mean by that.
You better not hit me.
I'm not gonna hit you. Right. So you got your screws over here, and your nuts over there on the floor. There's like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Alright, so when you actually take this apart, you see the spring right here on top. Be careful when you take out the screws. Make sure you're holding it. Can you hold the flashlight? Just highlight right there. So when you take this apart, try to start from the back. And when you start from the back, see how the spring just popped out?
Where'd it go?
I got it. See how the spring popped out? Right here? Alright, that's all I have to worry about. And when you go looking for the other piece, like this one right here, it's actually a aluminum piece. It actually flew all the way over here.
Did that one go?
Yeah, it's this one. So you have to have two pieces that connect the spring together. So you have the back, and then you have the forward one. So make sure you don't lose these aluminum pieces, or whatever you want to call them, steel pieces, because you do need this to cycle the gun. Alright, so then we got the thing out of the way. Also, another thing, you're gonna take off the top plate, and there's a top plate right here. See all that carbon right there? All that carbon residue, all right there too. And your barrel, carbon, a lot of carbon in the back over here. There's your bolts, carbon in the bottom, carbon on top. And this is the other side of the enclosed of enclosed case of the bolt, you actually have, let me see this. You actually have get too close. This piece that actually comes off. Don't know what that is, but it's important, and it's always going to go on the other part. Actually, on the left side. And then see, this is a velocity changer that actually fell out. Actually, we need to put that in back in here. And then another small spring in here that you must not lose. You cannot, I don't believe you could see this, but it's actually a small spring with a pretty much just like a miniaturized spring with this stopper right here, this aluminum. They're very tiny. This one actually goes into a slot inside the enclosed where it holds the bolts. Actually, it hops on in there. You can't really see this. And when you assemble this gun back together, you actually have to push this down and insert your barrel at the same time. If you don't have this spring in there, you're gonna have problems with locking the bolts back and forth when you're empty. You know, in the HK 416, when you're empty, this would actually stop the bolt. Stop the bolts in the back instead of going all the way forward. Well, this actually, if you don't have that spring, it will just keep on going forward. So that's what you need that for. Unless you want your bolt to go forward, then by all means you can take it up. But it's actually a spring with a aluminum head and rod that goes through the spring. It's very tiny. And that's how to disassemble it. I'll make another video how to reassemble it. It does take 2 hands, and that's pretty much all the pieces. And as far as the trigger with the hammer, I'm not going to get into detail with that one, but I had a question about the bolt carrier and how to disassemble it, because it is difficult and pieces kind of do fly around everywhere. Well, hope this helps y'all. Thanks.